Good evening, welcome to the Buck Stops here. I'm Vishnu Shom. It's now open war not just between the Delhi Chief Minister and the Lieutenant Governor, but between Arvind Kejriwal and the centre now. Today in the latest potshot in the ongoing power tussle in the national capital, Mr. Kejriwal said the Lieutenant Governor was like the Viceroy during British times, while the real power centre, the Prime Minister's office, was what London was back then. The big question, the Delhi Jung, is court the only solution at this stage? Also on the show this evening, after Anil Kakotkar, the renowned nuclear scientist and chair of the Standing Committee of the IIT Council, criticizes the HRD Minister Smriti Irani for running a lottery-like system and hiring IIT directors, we ask, IIT versus the HRD Ministry, is the premier institute being undermined? But let's move on now to our top story. Forget the war of words between Arvind Kejriwal and the Lieutenant Governor Najib Jung. It's now an open war between Mr. Kejriwal and the centre.
दिल्ली के लोगों को की पीठ में एक तरह से छुरा घोंपा इन लोगों ने। लंदन में महारानी बैठती थी, क्वीन ऑफ इंग्लैंड बैठती, तो यहाँ वाइसरॉय होते थे, तो वहां से आदेश आते थे, वहां से नोटिफिकेशन आते थे, और यहाँ से तो एलजी साहब वाइसरॉय हैं इनके और पीएम और लंदन है।
दिल्ली प्रदेश या किसी केंद्र शासित प्रदेश के क्या अधिकार रखते हैं, ये संविधान में तय हो चुके हैं। इस प्रकार की बातें करना कहीं न कहीं ऐसा लगता है कि शायद कुछ अपनी ही कुताहियों और कमजोरियों को छिपाने का या उन पर पर्दा डालने का प्रयास हो रहा है।
दिल्ली के लोगों को आज ये नोटिफिकेशन।
Arvind Kejriwal's war with Lieutenant Governor now escalating into a full-blown direct confrontation with the centre. As the Delhi Chief Minister retaliated following a notification by the Home Ministry, which said that it is not mandatory for him to be consulted on the appointment of key bureaucrats, at the heart of the current bitter dispute between him and the Lieutenant Governor Najib Jung. Instead, the centre said the LG can use his discretion on whether to get the Chief Minister's input. Mr. Kejriwal also reacted sharply to the Home Minister's stand that the Delhi government's anti-corruption branch cannot register or investigate complaints against employees and officers of the union government, calling it an attempt to protect its corrupt officials.
We are privileged and honored to have our ministers.
Ironically, the Delhi Chief Minister's attack came just minutes after Arun Jaitley said at a press conference that the Modi government's 1 year in power has been corruption-free.
A very important highlight of this government has been to give a corruption-free administration to this country. सरकारी और राजनीतिक भ्रष्टाचार से इस देश को मुक्ति मिलेगी, ये जो आम नागरिक की इच्छा है, वो हमने 1 वर्ष में करके दिखलाया है।
हमारी लड़ाई भ्रष्टाचार से है और केंद्र में बैठी हुई नरेंद्र मोदी सरकार बिल्कुल भ्रष्टाचार को बढ़ावा दे रहे हैं।
Constitutional experts are also divided on the subject.
The hard fact is that a Council of Ministers and Assembly in Delhi were conceded as a concession to the local leadership. So to satisfy the political ambitions of the local leadership, it was conceded. But no real powers were given. So the only way they can be effective and the only way they can do something for Delhi citizens is by being in a spirit of cooperation and winning the goodwill of the LG.
Sources in the Aam Aadmi Party say that while they are consulting the country's top legal experts and finalizing their strategy, they will continue with their own appointed officers. In fact, perhaps leaving it to the centre to challenge any decision in court. With Sudhiranjan Sen in New Delhi, Siddharth Pandey for NDTV.
All right, a real war of words now. It's an open fight now, not just between the LG and the Chief Minister or vice versa. It's a battle between Arvind Kejriwal, the Chief Minister, and the centre at this stage, particularly after the notification sent by the centre last night explaining what the relative role of the LG and the Chief Minister were in the case of Delhi. Joining us now, Nalin Kohli of the BJP, Ashish Khaitan of the Aam Aadmi Party, Onika Mehrotra of the Delhi Congress. The constitutional expert Subhash Kashyap also joins us this evening. Thank you all very much for joining us. Nalin, we can talk about the law, right? But let's talk also about the larger issue over here, the issues of statehood. Arvind Kejriwal, a lot of people would say, could be on questionable legal grounds. But in terms of a political demand for full statehood for Delhi, it's something that's been raised by many parties in the past.
And well, I think Mr. Kejriwal is doing a phenomenal job in confirming why full statehood is a matter that requires political consensus. His conduct and his government's conduct is only raising questions whether full statehood can be done fast or it needs to be slowed down. That kind of democratic maturity is lacking. You may disagree with the law, but you may want to interpret it, but you can't discard it. And just as an example, because through the day, this is not, by the way, cutting the wings of the Kejriwal government. This is merely telling them how big their wings are, and they can't exceed that scope. That is all this clarification says.
The way you phrased your answer, Nalin, are you suggesting that it's because of the Aam Aadmi Party and the way they conduct themselves that statehood shouldn't be given?
No, I didn't say that. I said that the consensus that is required needs a political maturity. So, hypothetically, the confrontation we have seen, which is unnecessary, the kind of language we have seen...
They lack the political maturity.
Let me answer that. So, therefore, I'm giving you a practical outplay. I'm going to give you an practical how it could play. That the language they have used, the way they have locked out an officer who was discharging his duties. So, by the same standards, if Delhi is a full state, this being the capital of the country of 1 billion plus people, this also being the authority, this place where the central government is, how do you see if tomorrow a government like Mr. Kejriwal decides, I will not provide security to the President House because the President hasn't, done this for, or I will now stop the Home Minister and have his car checked. Okay. So these are risks. Or just taking the ACB, the Anti-Corruption Bureau. What happens if the ACB decides to file a FIR against the Chief Secretary of Tamil Nadu or Kerala or West Bengal? So therefore, constitutional authority and executive action that comes from it is based on the widths of your power, not exceeding them. That's the basic.
Ashish, he stated lots of examples, but he began by stating that there is a lack of maturity, the BJP believes, in the conduct of the Aam Aadmi Party, and this is perhaps one of the reasons why you cannot consider your primary demand full statehood. How do you respond to this?
I didn't link both.
I would, so I think Mr. Kohli from the BJP, the ruling party at the center, in 2015 is speaking the same language which the spokespersons of the UPA in 2011 used to speak when this movement against corruption and against inefficiency and malgovernance first took up, and this party is a product of that movement. That look, these are the commoners, they don't know the niceties, the proprieties of constitutionalism, they don't know how laws are made, laws cannot be made on the street. Now, people of Delhi, they have delivered a decisive mandate, and that decisive mandate is that 1 crore people of Delhi, they have elected a government, they have voted in a government they have voted in because they were so disheartened and disillusioned with the existing system. They want probity and integrity in public life, they want complete right to information, they want to know exactly what is happening, on what parameters decisions are taken. They want a government of accountability.
The dreams, the aspiration of the young.
Just a minute, Ronika, let him finish his point.
Ma'am, can I please complete my?
Yes, go ahead.
They want a government that runs on the precepts of accountability, transparency, and public interest, and public interest alone being the lodestar of the government.
And how much have you
now today what is happening? Just 1 second. Okay. Ma'am, please let me complete.
Go ahead quickly.
We have an overwhelming legal opinion in our favor from ex-Solicitor General Mr. Gopal Subramaniam to Senior Supreme Court lawyer Rajiv Dhawan to former Additional Solicitor General Indra Jai Singh, and they are all saying that acts of the LG are utterly unconstitutional. Now, in today's notification, if you read today's notification, it says it starts with the name of the President. Says a joint secretary writes in the name of the President that the President has ordered. Can any BJP spokesperson or authority show me any file noting where President has given his consent to this notification of today?
No, but what's wrong with the Joint Secretary passing off a notification from the Ministry of Home Affairs? It's usually signed by an undersecretary.
It's normally signed by an undersecretary.
But Ashish, but you've made a lot of important points.
I would like to respond to that.
No, just one moment, Ashish. Ashish, just one point. Are you going to court now? Is this where this is headed?
Yeah, that's a very important question. This whole issue needs to be resolved within the constitutional framework.
That's the only
and we have sent 2 letters to the President. Can I complete, Mr. Kohli? We have sent 2 legal opinions running into 350 pages long. They have been sent to the President of India. We are seeking a presidential reference. There are important constitutional issues that have arisen from this whole scenario, unfortunate situation. We have framed those issues before the President because Article 239AA clearly stipulates that the Council of Ministers and the Chief Minister in Delhi continue in power at the pleasure of the President. So it's at the pleasure of the President that this government is in existence. The government continues. We are seeking presidential reference.
I just want to annul it one moment and let me go across to Mr. Kashyap. Mr. Kashyap, the Aam Aadmi Party contests what the centre has been saying and contests the contents of this notification and make the point that in fact substantial powers are enjoyed by the Chief Minister in the process of transfers, in the process of controlling even perhaps the police, law and order, other parts of the machinery which other states have. Typically Delhi has not had it under its control. Is this interpretation correct?
Well, the Aam Aadmi Party has come to power in Delhi with a massive mandate from the people. That has to be respected. But massive mandate of the people, winning the elections, forming the government, does not mean that you can do whatever you like. It does not give you unlimited, unrestrained, arbitrary powers. All the functionaries take oath by the Constitution and they are bound to function within the 4 walls of the Constitution. Fortunately or unfortunately, the Constitution does not give much powers to the elected government in Delhi. Because Delhi is a union territory, and union territory by definition is a centrally administered territory. The President rules through an administrator who is called the Lieutenant Governor in case of Delhi, and the government in Delhi can enjoy only those powers that are conceded to it by the government of India.
Mr. Kashyap, I take your point.
That is the constitutional position.
I know that, I understand that, and that is very much the constitutional position as we interpret it. But is there anything fundamentally wrong with any political power saying that that constitutional position is wrong? That if a government has come to power winning a mandate as strong as the Aam Aadmi Party has today, that surely they need to be respected and this needs to be changed.
Absolutely right. No,
and therefore the centre is stopping that process for a healthy dialogue on that.
No two ways about it. Constitutionally, ethically, legally.
Certainly constitutional amendment can be sought.
The government has to run on these parameters. But having said that, the centre and the state both, they have sold dreams. Now, once you are not able to fulfill those dreams, this is what happens actually. It is just hiding behind your agenda which you are unable to complete. And this is why the mess has been created. There was no big issue on recruiting an officer on a 10-day leave or postings or something of that sort. So, where was the problem between the LG and the Chief Minister? Obviously, one being guided by the other. So, when you are selling dreams and aspirations, when you are unable to complete those, that's where this mess happens. So, at the cost of whom? At the cost of the voters. They have given you huge mandate, both the centre and the state.
No,
are you going to ride high?
The Aam Aadmi Party has sold a set of dreams to people in Delhi.
Absolutely, they have become taller than the life size, larger than life size.